The tree tomato they don't want you to know about. Take a good look at those tomato plants in your garden right now. You've been babying them for months, watering every day, tying them to stakes, fighting hornworms and blight like you're in a war. And after 4 grueling months of hard labor, what happens? They die. You're left holding a few baskets of fruit and a pile of dead brown vines. And next spring, you get to go back to the garden center and pay good money for the privilege of doing this whole exhausting dance all over again. This isn't a food system. This is a subscription model designed to keep you dependent. But what if I told you there's a plant that breaks this cycle completely? Imagine a tomato that grows into a 12-foot tree. A tree that doesn't die after harvest, but stands strong for 20 years. A tree that produces not 30 pounds of food, but 3,000 pounds over its lifetime from a single planting. It produces fresh fruit in the dead of winter when your garden is frozen and bare. And when you pick it, it stores for 6 months at room temperature. No canning, no freezing, no electricity required. This plant isn't a myth. In the 1940s, it was growing in thousands of American backyards. But then it vanished without a trace. It didn't disappear because it failed. It disappeared because it worked too well. This is the story of the Tamarillo, the tree they want you to forget. Welcome to Senior Gardening Tips. Hit that subscribe button right now because I'm about to show you how one tree can replace your entire tomato patch forever. To understand why the industry buried this tree, you just need a calculator. A standard tomato plant is an annual. It requires perfect soil, constant water, expensive fertilizers, and your time. If you're lucky, it gives you 30 pounds of fruit. Then the first frost hits, and it turns into black slime. To get food next year, you must buy new seeds, buy new fertilizer, and restart the entire labor clock from scratch. The Tamarillo, or tree tomato, is a perennial. It's not a vine crawling on the ground. It's a semi-woody tree that grows fast, up to 10 feet tall in just 18 months. Once it's established, it produces up to 150 pounds of fruit per year. And here's the kicker. It does this for 20 years straight. Do the math with me. One standard tomato plant yields 30 pounds of food, then death. One Tamarillo tree yields 3,000 pounds of food over its lifespan. That's 100 times the yield for a fraction of the labor. When you plant a standard tomato, you're planting a snack for the summer. When you plant a Tamarillo, you're building an asset that will feed your children and grandchildren. Drop a comment right now. Are you tired of replanting tomatoes every single year? The timing advantage, 145 to 215. But the superiority isn't just about weight. It's about timing. Standard tomatoes flood you with fruit in August when everything else is ripening too. Zucchini, peppers, cucumbers, all coming in at once. Then they leave you starving in January with nothing fresh. The Tamarillo is different. In mild climates, it waits. It ripens its fruit late in the year, providing fresh vitamin C-rich fruit in the winter months when the rest of your garden is dead and brown. Fresh fruit in February from a tree while your neighbors are eating canned tomatoes from the store. So if this tree is the ultimate survival crop, why is it impossible to find in a modern garden center? Because it made the farmer too independent. The Tamarillo is native to the Andes Mountains of South America. It was the lost crop of the Incas. In the 1920s and 30s, the Tamarillo wasn't a stranger. It was a star. During World War II, when food was scarce and victory gardens fed the nation, they embraced the Tamarillo. Why? Because it was a calorie machine that required almost zero inputs. One tree could feed a family and half the neighborhood. But after the war, everything changed. The 1950s brought industrial agriculture. Chemical companies needed to sell fertilizers. Seed companies needed to sell annual packets every spring. A tree that lived for 20 years and needed no help was bad for business. Within one generation, a plant that was once a household name became a ghost. They traded a 20-year asset for a 4-month disposable product. If you're loving this, smash that like button right now. Let's talk about the fruit itself and why it changes everything. First, the taste. It's complex. Tangy, savory, rich in umami. It tastes like a tomato crossed with passion fruit and lime. But its true power lies in its armor. A regular tomato has thin skin. Leave it on the counter for a week and it rots. The Tamarillo is built like a tank. It has thick, bitter skin that acts as a natural vacuum seal. Insects hate it. Bacteria can't penetrate it. This means you can harvest a basket of tamarillos in December, put them in a cardboard box in a cool room, and still be eating fresh salsa in April. 6 months of shelf life. No canning, no freezing, no dehydration. Just raw living fruit sitting on a shelf. In a grid-down scenario, or even just a long winter, this isn't just convenient. It's a lifeline. The 3-second secret, 3:45 to 4:30. But here's the tragedy. 90% of new growers chop down this tree after the first harvest. Why? Because they don't know how to use it. They take one bite of the bitter skin and say it tastes terrible. They're throwing away a gold mine because of a simple misunderstanding. Here's the 3-second secret that transforms this fruit from bitter to brilliant. Boil a pot of water. Cut a tiny X on the bottom of each tamarillo. Drop them into the boiling water for exactly 3 minutes. Pull them out and drop them immediately into ice water. Now watch the magic happen. The bitter tough skin will slip off in your hands like a silk jacket in about 3 seconds. What you're left with is a sphere of pure, vibrant flesh. No bitterness, just tangy, savory perfection. Mash this flesh with a little salt, chili, and onion, and you have a survival sauce that puts any store-bought salsa to shame. Or slice it raw on toast with olive oil. Or blend it into soups for incredible depth. This is the secret that 90% of growers never learn, and it's why they chop down a tree that could feed them for 20 years. Now, are you ready to plant your legacy? The Tamarillo is a subtropical tree suitable for USDA zones 9 through 11. If you live in a warm climate like Florida, Southern California, or the Gulf Coast, plant it in the ground, and it will become a beautiful, productive tree. But if you live in the north, don't despair. This tree thrives in a large pot. Keep it outside in the summer, bring it indoors before the first frost, and it will act as a beautiful house plant all winter while feeding you fresh fruit. You can grow this tree anywhere in the country with just a little planting. This is your chance to break the cycle. Stop renting your garden from the seed companies. Start building an asset that will feed you for the next 20 years. Plant a tree instead of a vine. Plant independence instead of dependence. If you're ready to grow food that lasts decades instead of months, hit that subscribe button. We're here at Senior Gardening Tips, sharing forgotten plants and practical food independence every single week. Tell me in the comments, tomato vine or tamarillo tree, which one would you choose for long-term survival and food security? And if you know someone who's tired of the annual tomato grind, share this video with them. Knowledge isn't lost. It's simply waiting for you to remember. Thanks for watching Senior Gardening Tips. Now go plant a legacy. Happy gardening, friends. See you in the next video.